Hey, good day, folks. Welcome to Andrew's Life. Hope everybody's doing great today. Today's video is going to be about downsizing. I don't know exactly what I'm going to title this video, but I'll think about that. But today's video is going to be about me downsizing. Downsizing in order to have something a lot bigger. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm downsizing in two ways. Number one, I'm trying to downsize my body. I'm trying to lose, my goal is to lose 70 pounds. I mean, right now, I'm closer to 80 right now. I'm at 276 right now. And I want to lose 70 pounds and get back closer to maybe 200, 210 pounds. And the reason why I want to downsize is pretty obvious. I mean, for one, I'm going to feel a lot better. My health is going to be a lot better. My organs are going to be a lot better. I'm going to have more energy. And I'm going to look better. And statistically proven, where you're not, people who are not obese typically are going to live longer than people that are obese. So in a nutshell, those are the reasons why I want to downsize myself and lose a crap load of weight, which I've been working on it. Now, I would say, maybe about 3 weeks ago, I was at 285, so I lost a little bit of weight. For the last, for a little over a week, I haven't been eating anything sweet outside of fruits and maybe a little bit of honey on my oatmeal in the morning time. I haven't been eating anything sweet, like no donuts, no cookies, no cakes, no candy, none of that type of stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been hard because I wake up every day having a taste for that type of stuff. And as bad as I would love to just jump in the car, go to the gas station, go to the local Dollar General, and grab something sweet, I don't, because I try to stay focused on what it is I'm trying to do here. Which in my case, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get back to having, being muscular again, to where I look good, to where I can move faster and all that good stuff. And another way that I'm downsizing is well, I'm not going to say I'm downsizing yet because it's not written in stone yet, but for those of you that watched my video that I made the other day, I've showed you the interior of a house that I am considering purchasing, which is a lot smaller than the house I'm currently in. So I'm looking at downsizing my housing. Now, am I going to do it? I don't know. I mean, in order for me to downsize my housing, it would have to also be cheaper financially for me to do it. I'm not going to spend close to the same amount of money for something a lot smaller that doesn't make no sense to me. That's stupid. So depending on some circumstances, I might be downsizing my housing. Now, why in the world would I want to downsize housing? Well, for starters, I was looking at moving somewhere a little closer to my current employer and also somewhere a little closer to a larger city. Kind of like what I discussed a few weeks ago. And secondly, I figure with a smaller house, it's going to mean lower repair and maintenance costs because it's a smaller house, which means a smaller roof, less windows, and all that type of good stuff. And with it being a smaller house, my utilities are going to be a little lower because it's a smaller space that I'm going to have to cool or heat. And typically with a smaller house, homeowners insurance might be a little lower, and property taxes would be a little lower. Speaking of property taxes, I did call the county in which the house is located in, and the property taxes out there would be significantly lower compared to what I pay now. Now, what I pay now is super low, but what I would pay if I bought that other house would be, I would say it would be about let me think here. I would say the property taxes at that other house, if I were to buy it, would be a fourth compared to what I pay right now. It'll be a fourth. So, so yeah, those. So in a nutshell, that's the reason why I was looking at downsizing my housing. And it just so happened that that house that I showed you guys the interior of it, it just so happened that it sits on a whole acre. Half is cleared, half is treated, as you guys saw on the video briefly. Now, for those of you that are worried about me not doing my due diligence, for anybody that knows me in real life, knows that I don't buy a house without doing due diligence. So, just FYI, I have been doing due diligence on that house. Like, you know, when I was shooting that video outside the other day, you probably heard a couple of guys outside talking to each other, and those guys that you heard talking to each other were they were the septic tank people. Because if I buy this other house, since it's since it's not in town, it's out in the county. This house sits on a septic tank. So I decided to call a septic tank company to go out there and clean the septic tank and to inspect it to make sure it's working the way it's supposed to work. So the day that I shot that footage, that's what was going on. And I would say a week before that, roughly a week before that, I had a home inspector out there to inspect the house. So that house has already had a home inspection done to it. So just I am doing due diligence before I buy that house, if I buy that house. And the reason why I'm focusing on doing all this downsizing is because, to me, I'm looking to live a bigger life. Now, what the heck do I mean by a bigger life? Here's what I mean by a bigger life. Now, I feel that the universe has put me on this earth for a purpose. What purpose? I don't know exactly what purpose. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know exactly what purpose. I just know that I got a lot of as I told you guys before, I got a lot of different ideas floating through my mind of what I want to do with my life. Now I know I love to travel, and eventually I would like to return to doing my traveling again. And by the way, that is one huge reason why I am looking to downsize my housing, because I would love to get back out here and travel again. Not that I couldn't do it now, but I figure with a smaller house and lower housing costs and being closer into more and better employment opportunities, I figure if I chose to do a little bit of traveling, I can have my setup to where, like, if I only wanted to work, let's say, 6 months out of the year at a 9 to 5 in Alabama, I figure if I'm no farther than an hour from a major metro area, whenever I come back into town, I can get a job and just go to work and make my money. I don't have to worry so much about having a hard time looking for work like you do when you live in areas that are smaller. And of course, with And of course, with my housing overhead being a little lower, that will help as well as that will help also. Now, I've already told you guys the price. Well, I didn't tell you guys exactly what I'm going to pay for the other house, but for those of you that have watched that video, you at least have a ballpark idea of what I'm going to pay for the house if I end up buying it. If you don't, if you want to know what that figure is, go back and watch that video. And without telling you what I paid for this house, the house I'm currently living in right now, I would say the price that I would pay, I would say the price that I would pay for this other house if I chose to move forward and purchase it would be, let me do some mental math real quick. It would be a fifth of what I paid for the house I'm in right now. It would be a fifth of that price. And even after I go through and I make all the necessary improvements that the house is going to need, I would say even after all that, the real price, I call it, that I would pay for the other house after I make all the necessary improvements would still be less than half the price that I paid for this house. So I figure with all that extra money that I would potentially save on housing once I sold this house, assuming that everything works out the way it needs to on both ends, I was thinking I can take that money and, I can, there's several uh, business ideas that I have, which I can realize a couple of them with some of that money that I'm saving. I mean, honestly, I might consider buying myself another house and use it as a rental property. I mean, as long as I can find one to where the price is low enough and it makes sense, I consider doing that. Along with one or two other business endeavors. And I figure if I set myself up to do that, then it will put me a little closer to when that day comes to where I no longer desire to work a 9 to 5 at all for anybody. I will be able to more realize that because I'll have things set up to where financially I can still make the money that I need to earn to take care of myself. If I chose to work a 9 to 5 for a little longer, then I'll be making that much more money. It'll be that much more money in my retirement fund. So, in a nutshell, that has kind of been my idea of why I'm wanting to downsize my housing. Because to me, I figure if I downsize my body, I downsize my housing as well, I would downsize the amount of consumption, so to speak. Which means I will increase the amount of money that I'm able to set aside in retirements and in mutual funds. I will also be able to increase the quality of my life. Like, what do I mean by increasing the quality of my life? What I mean is, for those of you that have been watching me for a while, you should realize how much I love to travel. So, obviously, what I would do is, I would do more traveling. A lot more traveling. Like the videos that you guys saw of me up in the UP, the videos that you guys saw of me up in the Dakotas last year, you will see way more videos like that. I mean, not necessarily in that region of the country, but you would see more videos of me traveling through different places throughout the United States. And now that I got my passport, also you will also see videos of me going to places in Canada and maybe even Mexico. I don't know, but definitely in Canada. So that's what I mean by increasing the quality of my life. And I don't know what else to add to this video without sounding like a broken record. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right here. If you got something out of it, uh, feel free to give this video a thumbs up. If you like what I do here, if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And on that note, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Stay blessed.